live. Gotta restart the beat. Cause this joint
Gotta
cranks
restart
too
the
much.
beat.
Cause this joint cranks too much.
What's happening? What's happening?
We're back for some more Unreal Engine.
We're back for some more Unreal Engine. Game development.
The upcoming action-packed.
Shooter.
Put this volume down so it doesn't echo on stream. And it's saying I gotta. Well, that can't be right. So let's open Visual Studio up. What's going on? Saying I have to rebuild it. So let's rebuild it. I remember rebuilding it. Last time I worked on it. Let me make sure my audio is working. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, it seems like there's an echo. Gotta figure out why it's echoing. Let's try now. Like there's an echo. Testing 1 2 3. Why it's echoing. Let's try now. There's an echo. Oh, there we go. Hey, Boule. Hey, I appreciate compliment. Yeah, it's been a long time since I last streamed. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a good minute. But welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Hopefully the work that I'm working on, the work that I've been putting out will come to fruition. And we can all enjoy this game. Right? That'll be pretty sick. David, what's good? Yeah. C++ is pretty dependent on pointers to access objects. So you really have to understand the language. It's not just in Unreal Engine. In pretty much every C++ application coding software that you develop using C++, and pretty much every application you develop using C++, you're gonna have to use pointers to access objects. So, for example, last time, I can give you an example right now, right? Last stream I was working on rolls, right? Evasion rolls, right? And to do this roll in the stream, sorry, not in the stream, in the code, you have to access a character direct an object that I called the character direction arrow. I have to access the player, and I have to access the mesh, right? So to visualize that, the mesh is right here, right? This is what's considered the mesh. The character, right? You know the mesh. That's the mesh. The character direction arrow. I have to enable it so I can show it to you, but I disabled it. So let's look at it. Let's look again what I have to access to implement that role. The mesh, the on and plane character, which is the character, right? And then the character direction arrow. And this is the character direction arrow. Right here. That's the character direction arrow. So you just have to you have to initialize the pointer first. So I'm initializing these right here. I have a function that I call. So this is a component that lives within my. Let me move this one over here. Move this over here. These pointers that I just showed you. Well, first of all, this whole class lives within my character class, right? So if you go to my character class, right here, this is my character class. Right? This is the character class. And then within the character class, I have a begin play, right? And have a constructor. Within the constructor, I'm initializing this custom movement component, which is this right here. Custom movement component. I'm initializing it right here. I'm creating it right here. I'm creating it right here. So like you see object initializer, I'm using the dot operator and the function called default sub object class, and this is the name of the class. and I'm initializing it with a character movement component name. All right, so right here, I'm creating an object of it, or rather I'm initializing the object that I just created with a cast to the class name, or the class type, class name, get character movement, right? So this is how I set the pointer right here. And then this is the class that's using it. This is the custom movement component, right? So to set this class within the character class, to set the character custom movement component within the character class, I set it right here, and then in begin play, I'm checking to see if it's valid, right? So I'm setting it up here in the constructor, and then in begin play, I'm seeing if it's valid along with other pointers that I set, and then I'm accessing the custom movement component using the arrow operator. I'm accessing this function, and within this function, I'm initializing all of the pointers that I'm using in this class. See? So that's how I act. And then right here in the function, I'm just checking to make sure they're valid, because if they're not valid, I'll crash, right? So begin play, I'm initializing all of the pointers, and the pointers, just think of pointers as references to objects in your game, so or application, right? So this is a reference. Custom movement component lives within the class, the character class right here, and I'm creating this right here, up here, right? And then I'm setting all the settings right here, all these settings, and then of course I have motion warping, you know, I have different components, and I'm passing those in as pointers too into this function that lives within the custom movement component. And within this function, like I showed you, I have these variables that I declared here in this class, and I'm setting these pointers within this custom movement component class to equal what I pass in. So I hope that helps you understand objects. It's not that hard. I know it's scary at first. I don't understand it at first either. But then the more you code, the more you watch other people code, and you watch them use pointers, then you start understanding it too. Yeah, no problem, David. Yeah, no problem at all. It's pretty hard not to use pointers. I don't see how you can code in C++ without it. Well, you can, but it'll be extremely unnecessary. You do a lot of unnecessary work that you wouldn't have to if you used pointers. All right, so aside from the goals I listed in the okay, so aside from the goals I listed, what I want to implement, I actually want to fix this roll so that I can, when I do a roll from like right here, I land on top of an object. I land on top of the object that's like on the way, because right now I can't roll and land. on the object because it sees the object is there, right? So if there's an object there that's around the height of the character, I want to land on it. I want to land on it when I do the roll. So I want to fix that part of the code before I move on to implementing weapons and the submachine gun, shotgun, rocket launcher, and submachine gun, assault rifle, rocket launcher, shotgun, etc. Okay, so right here, what I'm doing right here is getting the direction of the character, the direction of the controller, and that's the direction we're gonna create those line traces that you see is the direction we're moving. So before I create these line traces, I want to get the location and the location is, if you look right here on the ground, that's the location. That small trace. I'm gonna get that first and set that so that I know where to draw the line traces. I'm gonna do that first. So instead of doing this, we're going to obtain the location that the character will end up at when the roll is complete. We want to do this first, right? So I can copy that, and I want to do that up here. And then, of course, I need to set this. So this is the start. I'm gonna use the character's head location as a start, because that's the highest I want the character to be able to jump, or rather do a roll. So we're going to use the character's head location, and the end, we're going to move the vector down by, just to be safe, 170. So that's going to create a raycast. That starts at the character's head, and it's going to shoot down 170 units. So it might end like down here somewhere, like right here, because we know the character with the capsule component this is around 100 units, right? So like 2 of those would be like down here. So we're gonna do this first, then I'm gonna check if this block raycast that we just created is a blocking hit. If it's hitting it, we're gonna see if it's hitting anything, and we want to make sure that it's not overlapping with anything. think that's pretty sure that's how you spell it. So let's just make sure that like I can show it to you real quick. Let me see if I can just. Oh, you see, this sphere trace is overlapping with that object. That's why it was green. That means that it's intersecting with something. So we want to make sure that I'm hitting the ground. There's a ground to hit, and the trace that I create that shoots from the head to the ground, it's not intersecting with anything. We're checking that, and if that's both of those are true, then we're gonna go in this F check. Gonna move. Let's move this in here. Creating this for loop. Let's just move everything in there, right? And then line by line, I'll just take out what I don't need. So we're just gonna move this whole full loop inside. Okay. And then we're going to format it a bit. There we go. Now everything's is nice and lined up. All right, so creating the for loop. Now we're creating the line traces. Now we want the line traces to start. I want the highest one to start at the head location, and then we're moving it with each iteration of the for loop. We're moving the line traces down. So we're starting where the head is, and then each iteration of the for loop, we're creating a new line trace at the lower spot than the previous one. Right? That's what we're doing here. And then we're creating this this float value, the offset vector to not overlap with character. So right there well basically, if you look at the line traces where they start right outside of the character's mesh. So like they start right outside of the character's mesh on all sides. The front is the same as well. So it'll start like right here, and the back will start right here, and it'll shoot out in the respective direction. So that's what we're doing here. And then this vector, we're creating a local vector, and so this is the location where the line traces start. All right. Depending on which way we're rolling, we're offsetting that vector to that direction. And then this is the start location, and we're just initializing that with the vector that we just set. So this is where the line trace is going to start for each iteration. Right? Now the end, this is what we want to modify, because like I said, when we roll, we want to land on top of objects. So that's why the first sphere trace that I created, and I moved up here, is gonna get the location. So like if we roll to the left, and the sphere trace gets this location right there, that's where we want all of our line traces to end up. Not end up, but like we want all of them to end on top of that location, because we want to land on top of that location. So it'll be easier to understand once you can visualize it. So I'll just do this. The end location. We're gonna start at the start location. Using the character direction arrow to get the rotation of which way we want to move the vector. And then let me think about this real quick, because I want the vectors, if I land right here, right, I want the vectors to go up like this, the line traces to go up diagonally like that, because I'm going up here, so I want them to go up. We're starting here. And we're moving it to the right. Oh, right here we're moving it forward. Let's look at the left, because that's the example we're looking at. So we're starting here. We're using this to get the rotation. And so basically we want to move this vector to this location. Okay. So instead of doing all this, okay, I see where I messed up. Right here. I need to get the location of the sphere trace in the direction that we're moving. I didn't do that. So I need to move this. I need to copy this. Right here. And this is just basically getting the rotation of getting the direction of the controller. And based on the direction of the controller, we're moving the vector in that same direction. So if the controller is going backwards, we're going to move the vector backwards. If it's going to the left, we're going to move the vector to the left, and so on. So let's create another vector. It's going to be called offset vector in direction of controller. And it's not going to be const, because we're going to have to change it down here. So right there, we're going to initialize it like this. And we're going to move these. I'll move this one, the start. So this is the starting vector. I'll move it right before I declare this variable. The start, or rename this to start one. It's the first one. We're initializing start one with the head location. So we're starting at the head location. And then we're getting the direction of the controller. And actually, what I also need to do is, this is the end location. This is gonna change, but before I change that, I also need to get this right here. I need to get this right here, because I need this so that, actually, we don't need this. We don't need this. So we're getting the location of the character's head, getting the direction of the controller. And now we need to, this is saying how far do we want to move the vector in the direction of the controller. And the distance to move the vector is going to be this right here. So I wanna cut that and paste that right here. And we'll look at it real quick. This is, I'm creating a local float. And I'm setting this float. If the character is running, if the character is jogging, I'm setting this float to equal 470. If the character is not running, I'm setting it to equal 300. And I believe I don't even need the equal sign right there. And to visualize that, I'm walking. So those red lines that you see is 300 units, around 300 units. They're not as long as if I'm running. You see, the lines are longer because the rolling takes up more space. So I want to check for this. I want to check for obstacles, right? But if I'm walking, the lines are a lot shorter. That's what this does. So we're going to copy this in here. And I can actually rename it to, let's rename this to dynamic value to offset vector in direction of controller. Right? It's a pretty long name, but it works. Okay. Now, offsetting the vector in the direction that we're going, right here. Now we want to get the end. We're saying the end of this line trace. Wait. Let's rename this to end one. And end one is equal to, we're going to offset the vector down 170 units from the location that we got. And I'm just going to rename these variables to match what I named them up here. And then we're going to check if it has a blocking hit and it's not penetrating with anything. And if it is, we're going to go in a for loop. Okay. Now in the for loop, we're going to get the character's head location and we're going to offset that vector upwards. And the reason for that is I don't care what turns a man on. I'm not gay. We're gonna offset the vector up because if we get the head location, it's gonna start inside the head. So we want to offset it up. And this is where the line traces are gonna start. And it's gonna shoot out like this from up here. Right? So what we want to do is we get the head location, we offset the vector up, which with each iteration of this for loop, we're going to move the vector down. Starting from this location. And actually, so this value right here. So each iteration, we're offsetting the vector up on top of the head. And then so this right here. Actually, we can leave this in here. And then after we offset the vector upwards, we're saying each iteration move the vector downwards, right? And we're moving it down, using the index, whatever the index is of the for loop, we're multiplying that by 30. And when if you visualize that, you see each iteration starts up here and it goes down by 30 units. Now we want to make sure the vector starts like outside of the body, right? We want it to start just outside of the body on all directions, right? So that's what we're doing right here. We're offsetting it by 30 units in all directions, depending on which way we're rolling. So we're gonna move the vector forward, backwards, left, or right, depending on which side we're rolling. And we're gonna call this start 2. Right, and the end location, I'm gonna call it N2. And N2, we're gonna use the location that we got with the spear trace. That's where we want all the line traces to end. Right? Now, this is N2, but this is not really N2 because we don't want all the line traces to end exactly at that point. We want it to end exactly basically using the same logic that we used up here, right? So we're moving it down right here. Now we want to move it back up using this location. So we can rename this, and you'll understand once you visualize it, once I show it to you. Offset vector up with each iteration of for loop. And move vector up. I want to copy this right here. And we're going to move it up by 30 units. Right? And then we're going to set end to equal this. And then we can delete this because we don't need it. We can rename this to 2. Right? Let me change the variables that I updated. Now we're seeing if we have a blocking hit, this means there's an obstacle in the way. Right? If there is no blocking hit, we're going to continue doing all the other for loops if the index is less than 5, because we're drawing 5 lines, or rather 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we're at the last index, we already did this, so we can go ahead and delete that. And what we're going to do next is check that there's enough space for the character to land. And it seems like I have an extra closing bracket, so I have to here it is. All right. And this is just developing a capsule trace. This is developing a capsule trace. Yikes. Let me check something real quick. I don't think this. I think this thing messed up. I'm gonna finish this stream and this implementation, and I'll fix it. So we're checking where we're landing with the capture trace. We're returning that result right here. Okay, so let me build this and we can visualize the changes. You see all the line. Wait a minute. Okay, I see where I messed up right there. See, the line is starting where the head is and is going to the location where we're gonna land. While in fact, it should. We don't want to start the head location. This is where we want to start. Right? We're gonna offset the vector in the direction of the controller, starting at the head location. So we're starting at the head location. Then we want to offset the vector in the direction of the controller. And then we want to set start 1 to equal this. And end 1, we're going to switch it with this. And right here, instead of using start 1, we're going to use head location. So, see? Like that. So I think that's a good height to like roll, be able to roll on. So the highest you can roll and land is like right there. And then we're checking the clanger variable, hit 1. I'll hit 1. Creating this, and then we're checking if I'll hit 1 has a blocking hit. And we're gonna check if it's not penetrating. That's where I messed up. I should have put not penetrating. And we should see all of the raycasts now. Yikes. So they're going down while they should be going, they're all going in the right direction. But they seem to be intersecting right here. Let's see what's going on. Okay. So we're starting at the head location and we're moving the vector up. Which, with each iteration of the for loop, we're moving the vector down. Yo, Monk. Hey man, I don't know what you're saying, but I think I should just say thank you. So if that's a compliment, thanks. So we're offsetting the vector down, right? And we're moving it in the direction that we're rolling by this amount of units. And we're setting start to equal this, which is correct. And then this is where the problem is. Right here. This is what's causing this intersection right here. So it needs to go down. And I don't need to use index. Well, actually, this is the start one. We're starting here. And then what we want to do is say, this is the end location. Right? But we want all the line traces to end here. To end at the location that we get. Which is right there. We want all the line traces to end here, and then we want to draw them going upwards based on that location. So let me comment this out. And I'll just put this in here real quick. Alright. So we're just gonna focus on this. We're starting here. With each iteration. This is the start. We want to end here. We want to end at that location that we get right here. So the end needs to end at this impact point. So let's just see what this looks like if I copy this in here and comment that out. I think I got an error. right here. So see what it looks like now. You see, now they all go to the same location, and it only does the first one because there's a blocking hit. So at this impact point, I need to make it go upwards. So right here. So what we're gonna do is uncomment this. And we're gonna name this offset and vector up. This is where I messed up. Wait, no I didn't. So we're offsetting the end vector upwards. Move vector up. Using the index that we're in. So, okay, I understand. So before we do this, we have to offset it up initially because it'll be right at the ground right here. You see? You see, it's hitting the ground, and then the rest of the line traces aren't being set, right? So the first one has to offset it. We have to offset it up to a certain amount. So we're gonna offset it up with let's do it's a good value. I'll say with each iteration we're moving it down 30 units. The 30 times 5 is 150. So let's say 170. Right? This is set. Now let's keep it at the same 150. Right? So this line right here, when this line is drawn, it should equal right here. So it should just be a straight line. And then what we want to do is we want to offset the vector down with each iteration of the for loop. And I'm going to use this. And this should actually be down. Okay, so we're just drawing lines, straight lines right now. But if this impact point that we get, if this impact point is up here, then the lines will be going up. We want to set N2 to equal this. Let's see how this looks like. Okay, that's correct. And now it's just drawing one line because I commented this out. So let's see it in its full glory. Yep, just like that. So if we want to roll on top of something, it will be like that, right? The last one. So yeah, let's actually let's put 170 so we can make sure the bottom one clears if there's an object. We want the bottom one to clear the object if there is an object that we're gonna land on top of. So if we try now, if that object's too high, let's try this object. That one would work. This object will work. So I think also I can reduce let's change this to 20 and see how this looks. Let's see this. Looks any better. See, now we can get a clear. Let's see. This one still hits. Okay. I'm gonna leave this at 30. And for this one, star 3, we want to use this impact point. right here. I'm gonna use the first one, and that should be it. I wonder if okay. And right here, I'm gonna set this to I'll hit 1. We're returning that location. And now you should see some rolling. Right? Now all I have to do is set the motion warping. I have to set it to use motion warping so we get a valid location. We'll land on top of that location. No, I think I want to modify this a bit more. Let's do 80. So the first line trace is gonna start like up here and go down. That way, I just want to make sure I can land on top of objects without being clipped up. Yeah, like that. And let's try 220. We're offsetting the bottom vector last. We're offsetting the where it ends up a lot more so that okay. Almost there. Let us. Yeah, that'll work. Yep. And then we're gonna make sure we send that information to the server so the server knows where we're gonna land when we do the action. So we're gonna use this function right here. Right. And for the location, we're gonna use this. For the rotation, we're gonna get the active rotation. So we're setting this information to the server, and now we can implement motion warping. So let's implement the motion warping on the rolls. So let's do backwards. Get the motion warping out. This is gonna be the warp name. We're gonna make it blend a lot smoother, and we want the motion warping to take effect right there. So when I jump, and this might not work, so I just want to try it. When I jump right there, and I want it to end right here. But we could try it. Actually, let's do forward. So as soon as I jump, I want the motion warping to take effect right there until I land. So we try it. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Let's try this again. Okay. Okay, it's sending us to the 0 location, which means oh, I think I know what the problem is. Hold on. Let me check my character state. It is set to flying. Okay. I wonder why it's sending me to the world origin. Okay, there's a problem with for some reason it's not working. Interesting. Yikes. I'll be right back, guys. Yo, I'm back. Let's see. Start this music back on. All right. Everything looks to be in order. Now I gotta fix the. There's a problem with the animation montage. Not see that it sends me to the world origin. So I think what I'm doing, I need to set this. I didn't set these locally. Even though I'm calling it to set it, even though I'm setting them to the server, I'm not setting them locally. So and I'll put these in here. And I hope this fixes it. Yep. So nice. That's sick, right? So if we're walking, we're trying to fight, we can't go up there. Oh yeah, I didn't implement it in every animation yet. So we want to start right here. And I'm just gonna copy this one. And paste it here. Right. And I'll polish this later so that it's more polished, of course. But for the implementation's sake, I think it's good. Right there, we're gonna implement right here to right here. Same goes for this one. And we should be good. It's too far. So I definitely need to update that. But I think it looks good. Look, I can even go to the left. That's pretty sick, right? When I'm aiming, I can be like, boom. I can't do it right there. Boom. Too far. Boom. Still too far. Boom. Dang it. It's hard to tell how close I am with a sniper because the sniper zooms in. So let's use a pistol. Look at that. That's so sick. And I didn't implement the falling animations yet. That's why when you see I land on top of the object and I just fall down like that. I didn't implement falling yet. Heck yeah. This game's gonna be sick. Like, boom. Gotta go and cover. Oh. Fire. Boom. Boom. Take out of cover. Get out of cover. Running, we're running, we're running. So sick. And then of course we gotta try it with the clients. Let's try it with some clients. Trying to make this bigger, but it doesn't seem to want to maximize to half the screen. I have to do it manually. Alright, so let's try right here with the client and make sure everything's replicating fine. It seemed to work, but I think the distance is too far. Right. I think the distance is too far, so I want to fix that right now. So let's do 370 and 200. Because when you roll and there's an obstacle in front of you, like from right here, I want to be able to land on it from right here. See? So when I'm jogging, that's kind of too far. Well, I think that's a good distance. But I gotta turn on collisions so I don't go through stuff. Actually, no, I can't. You see? Because it ends, hold on. That means I have to edit. I just do forward for now. So it limits it. So I have to land right here. Right? What do you guys think? Game's pretty dead, but it's all good. So maybe I should just keep the same distance for both of them, you know, just to keep it easier. Maybe not. So I'm running. I want to jump on the. Yeah, I think this is good. And if I'm walking, I think I want to the let's keep this at like, let's say 270 or 250 for walking. Okay. So when we're walking, that's pretty good. And we're running. I think running is too far. Let's change running to let's try 350. I just want them to have the same distance so it's consistent, you know, because so you're running. See, when you're too close, it won't work. I just leave it like this. Yeah, I'll leave it. I think that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and edit all the montages. I didn't do this one. And I forgot to I have to update all the montages so they blend in and out smoothly. And that's it. So oh, I forgot to change the collision settings. We could change that real quick. And we need to update the server. And we also need to update the replication notify state. Replication notify. Because we need the collisions so we don't roll through objects when we're halfway through, when we're like midway through the roll. I don't want our character being inside of an object, so I want collisions to prevent that. So like that. That's pretty good. So collisions prevents us from being inside objects. It's not perfect, but and we can roll. And enter cover. So that's pretty, I think that's pretty nice. Roll backwards. Let me hide this again. You know, I don't know why this is not. Let's see. I never streamed on TikTok before. So I'm just wondering if this is even streaming on my TikTok. Anyway, I think I did put on the description of the stream that I will implement. You know, I just think that's too far. But when I'm right here, I should be able to. Right here, I want to be able to roll on it from right here. We actually need to offset. Let's offset this by 20 on all of them. So that we don't clip the object that we're rolling on. So let's try first on flat ground. Okay. I think I actually need more than one animation. Notify state. Motion warping state. So like this one. This will be one right here. And then when we're like right here, create another one. Right. So this one starts after we jump. And it ends like halfway. We're in the air. And then the next one starts. This will stay 0. And this one will be 20. And we could test it out real quick. This is under jogging. And it can be a bit smoother, but like I can make it like that. It's a bit smoother. Yeah, I think that's better. And we can do the same thing for all of them. And let's change it to 30. I'll just keep it at 20. And this one will be start right here. To right here. Gotta leave some space in there so it has some time to interpolate. And this is left, right to right here. Just updating these values so they're all the same. Right? Let's do walking now. But this one's gonna be a little awkward because the character doesn't actually jump. It just like sits down. Right? So I'm kind of curious to see how this is gonna look when you're trying to roll on top of an object. So let's test it out on a client. So walking backwards, that doesn't look too bad. It can be, I don't like the way it jerks, the way it stops. So let's have this end a little early. Heck yeah. Okay. And you know what? I think I want to just copy these two because I like the way it looks. And I don't know if it's gonna work. No. Paste that. Look right here. And this is the left. So let's see what that looks like. A little too jerky. This is good, but it's just a little too jerky. Like the momentum just stops. That's good. That's good right there. I like that. The momentum doesn't stop and looks pretty good. All right, let's see. This is the left. Looks good to me. The jogging needs to get fixed when I'm jogging. But for walking, looks good. I like it. And jogging right. There, it would be safe just to copy this because it's the same direction. I mean, not the same direction. Same animation, but mirrored, I think. Pretty sure it's mirrored. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's just test it out. And this is the right walking. Yeah, it's fucking, excuse my language. This is beautiful. Let's go to the jogging and fix these. So jogging forward. I don't like that. So jogging forward starts right here. Let's make this end right there. Move this right here. And have this end right here. Let's see. Let's see this one. I still sense like a jerk in there. Like a little jerk. And then when it stops rolling, it's like kind of abrupt. So let's try this. Oh, I need more control when where I stop. Try this. Okay, I think as soon as I land, so from right here to right here, and then let's try this one. You see the momentum keeps going. So I think I'll just have to keep it consistent. And it'll just have to be, it won't look the best, but let's see how that works. When I'm running, it stops, but I don't like the way it stops. I really don't. How the momentum just get killed. It just kills the momentum. It makes you like an easy target when you're getting shot at. But at the same time, I'll just leave it like that. This is to the left. The left doesn't look too bad. What the right? Actually, it still kills the momentum. Actually, it's alright. I can leave it like that. I can work on the right a little bit though. Let's look at the left, because the left looks better than the right. Let's see how this looks like for the right. Yeah, that's good. And of course it works for clients. Yep. So I think that's good for the dive rolls, right? So with that said, this is just an enumeration that makes it easier to enable and disable debug action. Enabling, like, viewing the debug spheres. So I don't think this thing's even working. I just don't see it working. Oh well. I think it's gonna be a short stream today, and I will implement the weapons tomorrow. Right now, I'm just kind of not in it. Not in the right. I just want to play some SOCOM, to be straight up with you. So, and it was pretty good. I did a nice little update on the roles. So tomorrow, I will definitely update the weapon systems with rocket launchers, shotguns, assault rifles, and submachine guns. Promise. So it's gonna be a pretty lengthy stream tomorrow with nice implementations, and that's gonna be a huge milestone in the project. So once those weapons are implemented, all I have to do is work on the lag, making sure lagging is taken care of with some client-side prediction, server-side prediction, client-side prediction, and after that, I'll make a nice little menu, and then we can do some play tests while I work on a dedicated server. Yeah, that's the plan. While I work on the dedicated server, I would like some play tests to be going on and getting some feedback. But hopefully you guys learned some stuff, even though it wasn't too informative during this stream. I hope some information got transferred, and you see it's like it stops you like halfway, not halfway, but the momentum stops. And I think that's the problem with, wait, it's more apparent with the left. So let me fix the left real quick. think it's a bit better. And let me look at the right. I think it's a bit better. The forward is really bad though. Let's see how this looks like. It's good, but it's a little jerky. Like it transitions too fast. I think that's good. Yeah, I like it. All right, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And can't wait to play this game with you guys. It's gonna be sick. Take care. Stay blessed. Drink plenty of water. And get plenty of rest. And don't ever forget all the praise and glory be to the Father, God, Lord, and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Pretty dope. Alright, peace out for real now.